What if I told you that right now, as you're watching this video, an object 240,000 miles away is literally moving 1.37 billion cubic kilometers of water around our planet? What if I told you this same force is gradually slowing down Earth's rotation, stealing 2.3 milliseconds from every day, and that without it, complex life as we know it might never have existed? You think you understand tides. You've seen them at the beach. Water goes in, water goes out. Simple, right? But here's what will blow your mind. The moon isn't just pulling water toward itself. It's actually creating TWO bulges of water on opposite sides of Earth simultaneously. And that's just the beginning of how wrong our intuitions are about this cosmic dance dot. By the end of this journey, you'll discover that tides aren't just about oceans. They're reshaping continents, powering evolution, and revealing secrets about the future of our solar system that will fundamentally change how you see our place in the cosmos. But first, we need to shatter everything you think you know about gravity itself. Before we dive in, comment below. Have you ever wondered why high tide happens twice a day instead of just once? Keep that question in mind. Asterisk, here's where it gets truly strange. You've been lied to about gravity your entire life. Not maliciously, but the simple explanations you learned in school miss the most mind-bending aspects of how gravity actually works. Think of it like this. Imagine you're in an elevator in space, accelerating upward at exactly 9.8 meters per second squared. Einstein's revelation, confirmed by physicists Robert Pound and Glenn Rebka in their famous Harvard Tower experiment in 1960, was that you literally cannot tell the difference between this acceleration and standing on Earth's surface. Gravity and acceleration are fundamentally identical. But here's what this means for tides that will blow your mind. The moon isn't just pulling on Earth's oceans. It's creating a non-uniform gravitational field that causes different parts of Earth to fall toward the moon at slightly different rates. Picture this. You're holding 3 balls in a line, and you drop them all toward the moon. The closest ball falls faster, the middle ball falls at medium speed, and the farthest ball falls slowest. Now imagine those balls are parts of Earth. The solid planet falls toward the moon at one rate, but the ocean water on the moon-facing side falls faster, and the water on the opposite side falls slower. This is why we get 2 tidal bulges. Hey, water on the moon side gets ahead of the solid Earth, and the water on the far side gets left behind. It's not the moon pulling water toward itself. It's the moon creating a differential gravitational field that stretches our entire planet. Astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson calculated that the tidal force from the moon on Earth's oceans is roughly 10 million times weaker than Earth's own gravity. Yet this minuscule difference moves 1.37 billion cubic kilometers of water twice every day. Think about that. A force so subtle you can't feel it is orchestrating the movement of water masses larger than entire continents. But here's where it gets even stranger. The moon isn't the only puppet master. Wait until you discover what the sun is doing to this equation, and why sometimes it creates tides so extreme they've changed the course of human history. Asterisk. What if I told you that the sun, despite being 27 million times more massive than the moon, only contributes about 46% of the tidal force on Earth? Here's where our intuitions about size and distance completely break down. Here's the mind-bending mathematics. Tidal force doesn't follow the inverse square law like regular gravity. It follows an inverse cube law. This means that distance matters far more for tides than mass does. The sun is 390 times farther from Earth than the moon, and when you cube that distance, the sun's tidal influence drops dramatically despite its enormous mass. But twice a month, something extraordinary happens. Marine biologist Dr. Katie Croft Bell documented how indigenous Pacific Islander cultures have known for millennia what Western science only recently confirmed. During new and full moons, when the sun, moon, and Earth align, their gravitational forces combine to create spring tides, extreme high and low tides that can be 20% higher and lower than normal. These aren't gentle increases. We're talking about tidal ranges that can increase from 2 meters to over 15 meters in places like the Bay of Fundy. Think of it like this. If a regular tide is a whisper, spring tides are a shout that can be heard across continents. But here's where it gets fascinating. During first and third quarter moons, the sun and moon are pulling at right angles to each other. The sun partially cancels out the moon's effect, creating neap tides, the gentlest tides of the month. It's like two people playing tug-of-war with a rope, but pulling in different directions. This solar-lunar dance has shaped human history in ways you've never imagined. The D-Day landings in Normandy were specifically timed for a spring tide to help Allied forces overcome beach obstacles. The Bay of Fundy's extreme tides, reaching up to 16 meters, were used by shipbuilders to naturally dry dock vessels for repairs. But here's what will really blow your mind. This is just scratching the surface, because what I'm about to show you will prove that tides aren't just moving water. They're literally reshaping the solid rock beneath our feet. Asterisk, what if I told you that the ground beneath your feet right now is moving up and down by nearly half a meter twice every day? What if I told you that the moon's gravitational pull is so strong it's actually changing the shape of Earth's crust, and we can measure it with instruments so precise they detect changes smaller than the width of a human hair? In 1935, Belgian seismologist Lucien Lacoste made a discovery that shattered our understanding of Earth's solidity. Using incredibly sensitive gravimeters, he proved that the moon doesn't just move water, it moves rock. The solid Earth bulges up and down in response to lunar gravity by up to 55 centimeters. Think of it like this. Imagine Earth as a slightly squishy ball. The moon's gravity doesn't just affect the water coating, it deforms the entire ball, squeezing and stretching the rock itself like taffy. Modern laser interferometry, the same technology used in LIGO gravitational wave detectors, can now measure these Earth tides with incredible precision. Scientists like Dr. Duncan Carr Agnew at UC San Diego have documented how the moon's pull affects everything from GPS satellites, which must account for the ground moving beneath them, to underground particle accelerators, which must be constantly recalibrated as the Earth flexes. Here's what will blow your mind. These Earth tides affect far more than you realize. They influence earthquake timing. More quakes occur during certain tidal phases. Volcanic eruptions. Magma chambers respond to tidal stress. Underground water flow. Aquifers pulse with tidal rhythms. Asterisk, even atomic clocks, gravity changes minutely, affect time itself. But wait, there's more. The moon also creates atmospheric tides. Dr. Jeffrey Forbes at the University of Colorado has shown that our atmosphere rises and falls by several kilometers twice daily due to lunar gravity. These atmospheric tides affect weather patterns, satellite orbits, and even radio wave propagation. Think about this. The moon is simultaneously orchestrating the movement of our oceans, our solid planet, and our atmosphere in a cosmic symphony of gravitational forces. Comment below if you've ever felt like you're more affected by the full moon. After learning this, maybe you literally are. But here's where the story takes a truly mind-bending turn. Asterisk, because everything I've told you so far assumes Earth and moon are standing still. But they're not. They're dancing. And that dance is slowly destroying both worlds. Asterisk, here's what will fundamentally change how you see the moon tonight. It's not orbiting Earth. Earth and moon are actually orbiting around a point in space called the barycenter. and this point is located 1,700 kilometers beneath Earth's surface. About 1/4 of the way from Earth's center to its surface. ***. Imagine two figure skaters holding hands and spinning. If one is much heavier, they both rotate around a point closer to the heavier skater, but both are still moving. That's Earth and Moon, locked in an eternal dance around their mutual center of mass dot. But here's where it gets truly mind-bending. This dance is slowly tearing both worlds apart. Every time ocean water sloshes around due to tides, it creates friction. This friction is stealing rotational energy from Earth and transferring it to the Moon's orbit. The result? The Moon is spiraling away from Earth at 3.8 centimeters per year, about the same rate your fingernails grow. Dr. B.J. Kumar Sharma's research at the University of Texas has shown that when the Moon first formed 4.5 billion years ago, it was only 22,500 kilometers from Earth, so close it would have appeared 15 times larger in the sky than it does today. A day on Earth was only 6 hours long. ***, every time ocean water sloshes around due to tides, it creates friction. This friction is stealing rotational energy from Earth and transferring it to the Moon's orbit. The result? The Moon is spiraling away from Earth at 3.8 centimeters per year, about the same rate your fingernails grow. Dr. B.J. Kumar Sharma's research at the University of Texas has shown that when the Moon first formed 4.5 billion years ago, it was only 22,500 kilometers from Earth, so close it would have appeared 15 times larger in the sky than it does today. A day on Earth was only 6 hours long. ***. Here's what will blow your mind about the future. In about 50 billion years, the Moon will be so far away that it will be tidally locked with Earth. Both will show the same face to each other always, and both will have the same day length, about 47 current Earth days. But here's the twist that will keep you awake tonight. If the Moon were moving toward Earth instead of away, there would be a point called the Roche limit, where tidal forces would literally tear the Moon apart, creating a ring system around Earth like Saturn's rings. That critical distance? About 18,500 kilometers from Earth's surface. The Moon's current tidal forces on Earth are already 2.2 times stronger than Earth's gravity would be at the Roche limit. In other words, if the Moon were any closer, it would be ripped to pieces by the very same forces that create our gentle twice-daily tides. But here's what's truly staggering. This cosmic dance didn't just shape our planet's rotation. It may have been the key to making complex life possible in the first place. What if I told you that without tides, you probably wouldn't exist? What if the Moon's gravitational pull wasn't just moving water, but was actually the hidden architect of life itself? Here's the revolutionary discovery that changed everything we thought about evolution. The intertidal zone, that strip of coastline that's underwater at high tide and exposed at low tide, may have been life's first laboratory. Think of it like this. Imagine a natural laboratory that automatically cycles between underwater and air exposure twice every day, creating unique chemical conditions that exist nowhere else on Earth. That's exactly what tides created 3.8 billion years ago. Dr. David Deemer at UC Santa Cruz has demonstrated how tidal pools create the perfect conditions for concentrating organic molecules. As water evaporates during low tide, amino acids, nucleotides, and other building blocks of life become concentrated in small pools. When the tide returns, it dilutes and mixes these concentrated solutions. This wet-dry cycling is crucial for forming the chemical bonds that create RNA and early proteins. Laboratory experiments show that the specific timing of tidal cycles, roughly 12.5 hours between high tides, provides the optimal concentration and dilution cycles for complex molecule formation. But here's where it gets even more profound. Astrophysicist Jacques Lasker's calculations show that without the moon's stabilizing influence, Earth's axial tilt would vary chaotically between 0 and 85 degrees over periods of millions of years. Now think about what this means. Without the moon, Earth would sometimes spin like a top 0-degree tilt, no seasons, and sometimes roll like a ball, 85-degree tilt, with polar regions receiving more sunlight than the equator. These extreme climate variations would make complex evolution nearly impossible. Marine biologist Dr. Christopher Scotese has shown how tidal mixing prevents ocean stagnation. Without tides, the oceans would stratify into layers with no mixing, oxygen-rich surface waters and dead, anoxic deep waters. Tidal mixing distributes oxygen, nutrients, and microscopic life throughout the water column dot. It's like the moon is, Earth's cosmic stirring spoon, constantly mixing the primordial soup that allowed life to flourish. Asterisk. Here's a connection that will blow your mind. The moon's tidal effects on Earth's molten core may help maintain our magnetic field. The same differential forces that create ocean tides also create currents in Earth's liquid iron core. These currents generate the magnetic field that protects us from deadly solar radiation. Without the moon, Earth might be like Mars, a dead world stripped of its atmosphere by solar wind. God, think about this. You exist because 4.5 billion years ago, a Mars-sized object crashed into Earth and created the moon. Comment below. Does knowing this change how you feel when you look up at night? But the moon's influence on life goes far beyond just making it possible. Asterisk, because modern research is revealing that tides are still actively shaping evolution today in ways that seem almost like science fiction. Asterisk, what if I told you that we're living through a revolution in our understanding of tides that's happening right now? What if cutting-edge technology is revealing that tidal forces influence everything from global climate to the migration patterns of whales to the timing of your own biological rhythms? Since 2018, the NASA CNS SWOT, Surface Water and Ocean Topography satellite has been measuring ocean surface heights with millimeter precision. Dr. Rosemary Morrow's team has discovered that what we thought were simple tidal patterns are actually incredibly complex three-dimensional flows that vary dramatically with ocean depth, seafloor topology, and local weather patterns. Think of it like this. We thought tides were like a simple seesaw, but satellite data reveals they're more like a symphony with thousands of instruments playing different melodies that somehow harmonize into the patterns we see at the surface. Using autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, oceanographer Dr. Matthew Alford has discovered that tidal energy doesn't just dissipate at coastlines. It creates massive underwater waves called internal tides that can be 500 meters tall and travel thousands of kilometers across ocean basins. These internal tides are invisible from the surface, but carry enormous amounts of energy. They mix deep, cold water with surface waters, affecting global climate patterns and marine ecosystems in ways we're only beginning to understand. Here's where it gets truly mind-bending. Chronobiologist Dr. Kristen Tesmer-Rabel has proven that many animals have internal clocks synchronized not just to daily light cycles, but to tidal cycles. Marine worms, crabs, and fish have circatidal rhythms, biological clocks that run on 12.4-hour cycles matching the tides. But here's what will blow your mind. Even humans show subtle circatidal rhythms. Studies have found that human metabolism, hormone levels, and even mood can fluctuate on tidal cycles, especially in people who live near coastlines. The latest climate models show that tidal mixing is crucial for global ocean circulation. The Gulf Stream, which keeps Europe warm, is partially powered by tidal energy. Dr. Carl Wunsch at MIT has calculated that tidal mixing contributes about 3.7 terawatts of power to global ocean circulation, equivalent to about 2,500 nuclear power plants. Perhaps most remarkably, seismologist Dr. Satoshi Ide at the University of Tokyo has found statistical correlations between large earthquakes and extreme tidal stresses. While tides don't cause earthquakes, they may trigger them when fault systems are already under critical stress. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake that caused the Fukushima disaster occurred during a period of extreme tidal stress. While this doesn't mean we can predict earthquakes using tides, it suggests the moon's influence reaches even into the solid, Earth's most violent processes. But all of this pales in comparison to what tides are revealing about the fundamental nature of reality itself and how they're connected to the deepest mysteries of physics. Asterisk, here's what will fundamentally change how you think about reality. Tides aren't just a gravitational phenomenon. They're a window into the deepest mysteries of physics, revealing connections between gravity, time, and the very fabric of space itself. Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity predicted that massive objects don't just pull on each other. Through gravity, they actually warp space-time itself. And the most direct way to feel this space-time curvature? Tidal forces. Think of it like this. If you were falling toward a black hole, you wouldn't feel the pull of gravity. You'd be in free fall. But you would feel tidal forces as your feet, being closer to the black hole, experience stronger space-time curvature than your head. The same principle applies to Earth and the Moon. We're all constantly experiencing the curvature of space-time. LIGO gravitational wave detectors work on exactly the same principle as tides. When gravitational waves pass through Earth, they create tiny tidal distortions in space-time, stretching and compressing distances by amounts smaller than 1/10,000th the width of a proton. Dr. Kip Thorne, who won the Nobel Prize for this discovery, explicitly describes LIGO as a tidal gravitational wave detector. Here's where it gets truly mind-bending. Theoretical physicist Dr. Leonard Susskind has proposed that tidal forces near black holes might be connected to the fundamental nature of information in the universe. The same forces that create our ocean. Tides might hold clues to solving the black hole information paradox, one of the deepest unsolved problems in physics. Even more remarkably, physicists are now discovering quantum analogs to tidal forces. In quantum field theory, the vacuum of space itself experiences tidal fluctuations that might be responsible for the expansion of the universe during cosmic inflation. Recent developments in string theory suggest that tidal forces might be manifestations of the holographic principle, the idea that all the information in a volume of space can be encoded on its two-dimensional boundary. The moon's tidal influence on Earth might literally be a three-dimensional projection of information encoded on a distant surface. Here's something that will blow your mind, because tidal forces are manifestations of space-time curvature. They actually affect the flow of time itself. Time runs slightly faster at high tide than at low tide due to changes in gravitational potential. These effects are tiny, about 10 to 16 seconds, but they're real and measurable with atomic clocks. Take a moment to process this. The tides you see at the beach are literally ripples in the fabric of reality itself. How does that change your perspective? Asterisk, but here's the most profound realization of all. Because everything we've discovered about tides points to a single, staggering conclusion about your place in the cosmic order. Asterisk, here's the truth that will change how you see yourself. Forever, you are not separate from the cosmic forces we've been exploring. You are those forces. The same gravitational fields that move oceans across the planet are flowing through your body right now. The moon's influence that shapes continents is shaping you. Think about this. Every atom in your body was forged in the nuclear furnace of a dying star. then scattered across space and eventually swept up into the gravitational dance that created our solar system. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, all of it participated in cosmic tidal forces for billions of years. Before becoming part of you, you aren't just observing the universe. You are a conscious manifestation of its deepest processes. Every time you feel drawn to the ocean, every time you pause to look at the moon, every subtle shift in your mood or energy that you can't quite explain, you might be feeling your connection to these cosmic rhythms that operate on scales from quantum to galactic. Dr. Frank Brown's research at Northwestern University showed that even organisms kept in constant laboratory conditions maintain tidal rhythms for weeks. Something in your very cells remembers the ancient dance between Earth and Moon. Here's what changes when you truly understand tides. You realize that nothing in the universe exists in isolation. The moon's gravity doesn't just affect Earth. It affects every atom, every thought, every moment of your existence. You are part of an unbroken chain of gravitational influence that extends from the quantum foam of spacetime to the largest structures in the cosmos. But here's the most amazing part. As a conscious being, you're not just subject to these forces. You're the universe's way of understanding itself. When you look up at the moon and comprehend how it creates tides, you are space-time curved into a shape that can contemplate its own curvature. Tonight, when you look at the moon, remember, you're seeing the object that made complex life possible. Its gravity is literally flowing through you right now. The same forces that move oceans are part of what makes you conscious. You're witnessing a cosmic dance that's been going on for 4.5 billion years, in 50 billion years. When the moon is tidally locked with Earth, and both worlds show the same face to each other forever, the atoms that make up your body will still be part of this cosmic story. They might be part of new worlds, new forms of consciousness, new ways the universe comes to understand itself. Comment below and tell me, how does understanding your connection to tidal forces change how you see your place in the universe? We began this journey thinking tides were simply water moving in and out. We've discovered they're nothing less than the visible expression of space-time itself, the force that made life possible, and the rhythm that connects you to the deepest mysteries of existence. Every 12.5 hours, for 4.5 billion years, the moon has been demonstrating the most profound truth in the universe. Everything is connected. Gravity, time, life, consciousness, and cosmic evolution are all part of one magnificent, ongoing symphony. The next time you stand at the ocean's edge and watch the tide come in, remember, you're not just watching water move. You're witnessing a universe revealing its deepest secrets, and you, as a conscious observer, are the most remarkable part of that revelation. If this journey changed how you see reality, subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden connections that shape our universe. And ring that notification bell, because once you start seeing these cosmic patterns, you'll want to explore them all. Check out our playlist on cosmic forces. Leave your mind-blown moments in the comments. And remember, you're not just in the universe. You are the universe, conscious and magnificent.